Hi, you're tuning in to The Right Point of View, where we discuss health, wellness, love, and all things in between. I am your wellness coach and host, Ms. Shondi Wright-Brown. Thank you so much for joining. So today we are going to be talking about love, right? That thing that everybody wants to know about. How do I get it? How do I keep it? You know, when am I going to find it? That kind of thing. So we are going to discuss this with this amazing coach. Her name is Blondy Moore. She is a successful mompreneur, wife. She's a dynamic speaker, success and leadership coach, and she's a trainer. She provides life coaching and leadership training to ambitious leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals. She uses her combination of life experiences and professional training to help her clients gain clarity, find solutions, and live out their full potential to achieve success with their personal lives and their businesses. Blondy is passionate about women overcoming obstacles and hardships to become their best selves and make a powerful impact in their personal and professional development. I am honored to introduce to you guys, for those who don't know her and for those who do enjoy her again, Blondy Moore. Thank you so much for joining, Blondy.
Thank you for having me, Mashandi. And all I'm going to say is I'm going to need you to do that on my intro for my video for my website. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. What's she talking about? I like this. Yeah, I'm gonna need that recorded and, yes, edited so that we can add that on my video reel because that was bomb. I appreciated that.
Thank you. Well, it was easy because, like I told you before, I was about to tell everybody, this is my friend. I love her. I watch her, and I admire her. So it was easy for me to tell people about what you do. And thank you for your yes. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I am absolutely phenomenal. God is good.
Oh, I love it. He is good, and I love phenomenal. And that leads me into why I asked you to be here. So for you listeners, what I thought we would do is over the course of the Valentine's Day holiday, while everyone is commercializing and making things appear to be what they're not sometimes, I wanted to be able to provide a space where you feel empowered and you feel loved and you get what you need to, for some, get you through this time, and for others, remind you of how blessed you are for what you have. So we are going to chat just a little while, and I hope you stay till the end and let us know your thoughts. All right, Miss Blondy. So we are talking about love and all things love. But I've found that when we talk about love, we often leave out our, like the foundation, and the foundation is us, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I wanted to talk to you about is, while we are in this whole social media space and everything is going super fast and we are daily seeing images of what we should look like and what hashtag Black Love should look like, tell me, how can we not pay so much attention to those things that we see and be comfortable where we are? What do you think about that?
Oh, what you mean, that all those social media express reels aren't real? What? You mean everybody's not all booed up and happy all the time and in love and getting chocolate delivered and eating strawberries out of their lover's hand? Those are not real? Are you kidding?
Absolutely not.
I tell you, listen, if we focus on social media, I think the majority of us would be suicidal and depressed because we see these snapshot reels and we think that it's real, and they're not. They're reels. They're not real. They're not the full picture. You get a little snapshot, and it's not to say that that moment wasn't real, but that's not the whole picture. That's not the whole thing. You're getting one little snippet of someone's life, you know, and you don't see the hardships, and normally you'll hear about it later. Sometimes for those leaders that are real and that share, you'll hear about it later, and then you'll think, when did that happen? When were they going through that? Because they don't share it when they're going through it. Most people, what they need to be doing is when they're in their situation, you just grow in that. Be that, own it, bloom right where you're planted. So whatever situation that you're in, if you're single, if you're married, you just enjoy being in that space and not so much focusing on that next thing, because social media will have you thinking that this is goals, this is the expectation, this is what I should be doing, this is what I should be focusing on, and while you're looking, you're missing.
Yes. Wow. That is so true. Guys, did you hear that? You know, it's so easy to see those things on social media, and because they're pictures, we say, oh, yeah, they have pictures, they have receipts, they can prove it. It's not true. Some of those things just are not true. We're in it for the likes. And one of the things that I love and wanted Blondie to share, love about Blondie and wanted her to share, is that what happens when you get no likes? What happens with you when you're alone with yourself, right? That's what we need to work on. What do you say to that, Blondie? What do you feel about that?
You got to own your space. You just got to own your space and own yourself and who you are. And I think that first comes from just enjoying yourself and being who you are. For example, like I know for the longest time, I used to take myself on dates, like literally by myself, and just go and enjoy my own company. And I did that because what I found the first time I did it, I was really uncomfortable. It just didn't feel right. And I didn't like that feeling, because to me it just felt like, why don't I like my own company? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I need somebody else in my space for me to feel a certain way or to validate me? And so it kind of forced me. I said, no, I'm going to go out by myself. If I'm going to go eat, I'm going by myself. I'm going to go to the movies by myself, and I'm going to do these things until I get comfortable doing it. And that's exactly what I did. And it was freeing.
Yes.
It was so freeing. It was so like, it released me from feeling like I needed other people to validate me and to entertain me and to, to show me love. I wanted to do that for myself. And I'm so grateful to God. That was a lesson that he gave me pretty early on, to do that, to just love up on me and enjoy me. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to remember that we're enough all on our own. Like, we don't need people to tell us that we're enough or that we're great. We already are. And it's believing that you're enough already. You don't need somebody else to support that. You are it. Like, you the it.
You the it. I love that. So having said that, that reminds me, so before we started our talk, I was on the phone with another one of my friends, and we talked about the whole Valentine's Day, and she made a suggestion that I'm going to take to heart, that we are going to rename this time. Instead of focusing on it being Valentine's Day, we're going to say it's Love Me Day. So on this day, just like Blondie just said, you do things for you. You take yourself out. You take more time when you get ready in the morning and pay special attention to those extra moles that have come on your face with age, or those extra pounds, or the loss of pounds, or whatever, and you be comfortable walking into a restaurant asking for a table for one. That it's not, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, I want us to get to a point, and we both share this sentiment, that we get to a point where that's okay, just like she said. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that she did this before her husband. Hear me. She it didn't require a man's validation before she learned to love herself and appreciate her time alone. And so I like that part, that you know, because some people may say, listening to her looking at her bio or seeing her on Facebook, of course she loves herself. She has this beautiful family, which she does, and she has this wonderful husband, which she does, but she just said to you, before all of that, she took herself out and she learned to appreciate herself. So what a partner adds to her life is an addition. You know, she wasn't there just waiting on a knight in shining armor to take her out. You know, it's a benefit. He added to what she was already doing for herself. And I love that. That's probably one of the largest takeaways I have from so far from this conversation, is that you took yourself out and got okay and did it until you were comfortable. You were very intentional about loving yourself and being comfortable in your own space. Would you say that's what was going on?
That's exactly what was going on. And in all honesty, I really should have taken a few more years to continue to do that, you know, because I came into marriage with some insecurities, and I think that would have helped me to just work on me some more and just focus on growing myself and loving myself fully, healing. You know, there's so much stuff that damages us, that we don't even think about when we want these relationships and we want these, I want to be booed up, but you're not even focusing on the things that have hurt you that you're bringing into this relationship. It's not just going to be you. Now you're going to have somebody else that that magnifies that hurt for you. Because don't nobody magnify hurt than the person that's closest to you. So you're bringing all this stuff in and this baggage in that you really didn't have a chance to work on. So that's why I always say you just got to grow. You got to bloom wherever you're planted so that you can be your best self for your next. Not just focus so much on the next, but just working on the right now, right here. What can I do right now, right here? And that actually will help you to get out of that, like that comparison analysis, that comparison paralysis that happens when we're always trying to look at what this person is doing and what this person has going on, that it just cripples us that we can't even focus on our current situation because we're just so focused on looking at what this person is doing.
I like that. Comparison analysis. Comparison paralysis.
It is.
Wow.
It paralyzes us. It is. It's that fear acronym that they say false evidence that appearing real. And honestly, I think it's false expectations. I think we have these expectations that we make ourselves believe that are so real, and that we just get obsessed with this idea of what is expected of us and what people, what it takes to get people's approval. Right? That you kind of run around like this mad person. You have this mask on. You just can't even, you don't even know who you are without the mask because you're just so focused on what the expectation is and what you think you should be and who you think you should be. And that's tiring.
You know what? I love that. False expectations appearing real. That is so good to me right there because it is our expectations that oftentimes make us hurt so bad. And that's really good for the reason why we're having this call, because I believe that's a lot of what happens on Valentine's Day and around Valentine's Day, right? We grew up hearing these stories about being rescued by a knight in shining armor, and we see things on social media where people are getting engaged and receiving all these flowers and chocolates, and like you said, being fed like chocolates and in a bubble bath and rose petals and candles. We see all of this stuff, right? So now we have that comparison paralysis, and we start to expect those same things from our partner. Never mind how he was yesterday. So that's important. Never mind what yesterday was. We forget, and all of a sudden on Valentine's Day, we are expecting some changed person or some guy to just appear out of nowhere. It's our expectations that oftentimes lead to our disappointments and our pain. So that's really false expectations appearing real. That's good. So while we're self-analyzing and caring for ourselves, maybe we should change our expectations of what other people do for us and expect more from ourselves, what we do for ourselves. Right? That's so good. I love that.
That's exactly it. And then we'll get into the space where we're thinking like, okay, I just want to be, like, you're single, right? And you're thinking, I just want to be married. And then that married person is looking at the single person like, man, the days when I was single and I could just get up and go and just do.
Right.
It's always something. I have these conversations with my girlfriends, and we realize, like, it's always something. If you look for, you will find a deficiency. You will, because we all have them. So, and if you focus on that, you're going to be miserable. And then especially around Valentine's Day, because you're looking at everything looks so wonderful and it's just so great. I'm just like, man, just focus on what can I do to make myself better? What can I do? How can I use my experience to bless others? How can I use my life to bless others? You focus on the positive things and focus on the things that you can do to actually help other people, not just focus on yourself, because I know Valentine's Day can be a real selfish day where we're waiting to get served, we're waiting to get, all these things, and just looking at how can I bless other people? How can I be a blessing to other people?
Yes, I love it. So that goes hand in hand with Love Me Day. So we changed that thing to Love Me Day. Even if you have a sweetheart, when you love on you better, he will love you better too. He has a choice because you've given him an example. You've shown him what it's like, what you look like when you're loved, and you do it for yourself. And so I think that Love Me movement can improve all relationships. I believe it improves, it helps with what you would tolerate at work or would not tolerate. It helps you pursue your dreams better because you know what it is that you stand for and what makes you happy because you are comfortable in your skin. It helps you with your health because when you really, really love yourself, you are very cognizant of what you put in your body because you love it, because you identify with it, you know what makes it sick, you know what makes it well. And so I believe not only will loving yourself and the Love Me movement change your relationships, your romantic relationships, but I believe it'll change all relationships. And so I'm excited, really, really excited about it, and I hope that you guys gain something from these conversations. So tell me more. So we're bloom where we're planted. I want to know if you could give the listeners, when you say bloom where you're planted, can you give 3 examples of things you can do in place where you are right now so that you to help bloom where you're planted? To give me 3 things a lady could do right now to bloom right where she is.
Oh, that's a great question. I love that. Look at you coming with the good stuff. The first thing I said, like I mentioned earlier, honestly, it's just dating yourself. It really is. And it can sound cliche, but it's just dating yourself and getting comfortable with yourself. Part of that is knowing what you want, knowing who you are, and just understanding your value. And that takes time. So you can start by just doing that, just dating yourself, spending some time with yourself, getting to know yourself, talking to yourself. I do that. I talk to myself.
I do too.
Just because it's helpful for me, just because I just get to know what is Blondie like, what does Blondie want, tuning out all the voices of the outside world and outside influence, which leads to my second thing is just meditating. Taking some time to meditate, taking some time to clear your mind from outside distractions, outside influences, to get to know. I mean, it took me years to get to that place of just knowing what does Blondie want outside of what other people think that she should have, and outside of what other people think she should be doing. What do I want? And how does that come from me is just having that time where I can just clear my mind and clear my head from every distraction and just focus on that. I also like to do dates, and they're simple things. Where I like to go to Starbucks. I like to go to Panera Bread. I like to go to little shops where I could just sit with me, my journal, my planner, and I just have my dates with myself. And I do that on a regular basis. It's self-care. It's practicing self-care. So that dating goes along with this practicing self-care. So I think that goes in with that. So that probably would be the first one.
That actually is, to me, that's almost a 1, 2, and 3, because when you were saying that, I was thinking to reiterate that it doesn't even have to be expensive. A lot of times we think that, when they say self-date yourself, I must take myself XYZ. No, just exactly what you said, like going to Starbucks. When you frame something a certain way, it changes it. So if you frame your walk around the lake as a date, guess what? It becomes a date. It becomes exactly what you say it is. And then you just take those minutes, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, and you just be to yourself. Everything within that 10 minutes is all about you. You deserve it, my love. Everything about that 10 minutes is you. Every thought, every plan, every cup of hot coffee, chai tea, whatever it is that you enjoy, it's yours. It's all about you for those minutes. And I think that's a reasonable expectation. And, we serve people so much. We give so much of ourselves that we should be able to take 10 minutes where we date ourselves. Or it could be as elaborate as going out, taking yourself on a spa date every now and then. But I just wanted to remind us that you don't even have to go anywhere. No,
you don't. I go to my car sometimes. I go to my car.
Exactly.
Sometimes I literally go sit in my car.
Yes, but you know what?
That's
the best part is the music is so good, it's loud as you want it to because the car is so small. You can have a great time in the car by yourself.
I do that. Sometimes that's why people tell me they don't have time. Listen, go to your car. You don't have to even leave home. You don't have to go do anything, because if we have time, amen, you go do that. But if you don't, just go sit in the car. And the last thing for me is affirming the positive things. right? So you just affirm, just look at the positive things, because we all have them. There's so many, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves of all the blessings that we have and all the positive, and you just affirm that. You speak it out loud to yourself. You remind yourself, look at all the good that I have going on right now in my life. And that helps you to grow, too, is seeing all the goodness. Because sometimes we can just be so focused on all the negative things and all the things we don't have, all the lack, that we forget the pluses, the surplus.
Yes, and there is surplus if we just take the time to look at it. You're right. We do a lot of the time forget that. We have so many things to be thankful for. That is awesome. All right. This has been good stuff. So you guys, if you are just tuning in, please go back and listen to the whole thing from the beginning. We are talking with beautiful Blondy Moore, and we are talking about blooming in place. I have a couple more questions for Blondy before I let her go. Blondy, I want to know, what is the best love advice you've ever received?
Ooh, the best love advice I've ever received. Yeah. That's an excellent question. You know what? It's not traditional, but the best love advice that I ever received or was ever told was that love is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of was an eye-opener for me, because I always thought love was a feeling. So when they told me that love is a choice, it's not a feeling, because we think we're supposed to feel love, that we're supposed to, have these butterflies and, all these things. And they told me that, no, Blondie, love is a choice. You choose to love people, so you choose to honor them because you love them. It's a choice that you make. Mm. And that was mind-blowing for me, to know that I had a choice to love people, which means that when they don't always treat you well, you got to choose to love. When they make you mad, when they're frustrating, and especially you're going to learn that in marriage too, that when things are not always, you're not always going to see eye to eye. Things are not always going to be that feel-good, lovey-dovey stuff. And so when you choose, and that's what helps to make it solid, is that you're choosing to work on it. You're choosing to make it work. You're choosing that you are not going, nothing is going to separate you. You're choosing to remain faithful. You're choosing to love one another even despite it not being everything that you expected or thought it would be. It's a choice. And that was actually the best advice that I've ever gotten when it came to love.
That is great advice. Love is a choice. Again, that goes against all the things we've been taught, because we believe it's a feeling. You meet them and it's love at first sight. Well, yeah, maybe there's something at first sight, but love is a choice. You make a decision.
But what happens to that second sight, and that second glance, and that third glance?
Right, and that 100 glance.
Yeah, but you got to keep looking after the first look.
Exactly. Dude getting on your nerves glance. He didn't buy you nothing for Valentine's Day glance. Right, so I love that. Guys, love is a choice. Oh, that's good. That's real, real good. And my final question for you, my darling, in one word, what is love to you? Love is
faith.
I like it. Love is faith.
It's faith. It's faith, because you're putting your hope in something that you just can't see, because you don't know how it's going to, turn out. You're choosing to love someone not knowing if they're going to love you back. You're choosing to love not seeing what the outcome is going to be. It's stepping out on faith. It's stepping out on faith. Yes. And it's not even just a romantic relationship. That's in friendships. When you love people that you don't know how that's going to turn out, you don't know if it's going to be reciprocated. It's a faith walk. Love is a faith walk.
It is. That is. Oh gosh, that's so good. Oh guys, I hope that you got as much out of this as I did. Blondie, we are going to wrap up, but do you have any final words that you would like to share with the listeners?
Yes, I do. Honestly, I just feel like, look, I know that Love Day is coming up, and I know, I get it. The feelings, the emotions are going to be at peak. And all I just want to tell you guys is just remember that you are already in possession of everything you need. at this moment everything you need to have a great day. It's not about a person. It's not about a gift. It's not about a card. It's not about any of those things. You already are in possession of every single thing that you need to have an amazing day. You choose. It's a choice. And you can choose to have a great day despite what you think you don't have or what you think you need. And, regardless, I'm choosing that. I always choose that. I remember there's been years, man, I didn't get a card from I'm like, look, what is this? But I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to choose to have a great day, and I'm going to choose love. I'm going to release all of the expectations that I have on what it's supposed to look like, and I'm just going to choose me.
Yes. Ooh, that's good. You guys, that's it. That is amazing. I'm so happy that you decided to join us, and I want to let listeners know, how can we reach you? How can we find you out there in these social media streets?
Well, I am Blondy Speaks on pretty much all platforms. My website is Blondy Speaks or HireBlondie.com. Either one will take you straight to me. Everything else is Instagram, Facebook Facebook is Blondy Moore, but Instagram, Twitter, those are Blondy Speaks.
Perfect. Well, we are delighted to have had you today. Thank you so much, Miss Blondy. And you guys, thank you for tuning in. And remember, beloved, I wish above all things that you would be in good health and prosper, even as your soul prospers. Make it an amazing day. Take care.